Hi there, you're welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be looking at function, the second lesson under the Intro to Programming. So we've done the first lesson the last time, and if this is the first time of you viewing our tutorial, please check the previous lesson on arithmetic and variable. So, and also please subscribe to our channel as you'll be getting updates as time goes on. So now clicking on the function, we've gone through the tutorial, the technical aspect of the tutorial. We've read through all of this. Now function, what is a function? You might ask that what is a function? A function is a block of code designed to perform a specific task. I repeat, a function is a block of code designed to perform a specific task. Now, if you look down here, we have a function declare a function. In Python, we are actually using Python programming language, okay? Now, in Python, to declare a function, anytime you see dev, it means divine, to divine something. Now, a function has component. So this is the head component and this is the body component. The head component and the body component. In the head component, we have the keyword called divine. Without this divine, there's nothing like function, okay? There's nothing like function declaration, excuse me. Now, if after the def, we have the function name. The function name here is add underscore 3. Now, this is what the programmer has power over what? Over the function name. But a programmer does not have power over what? Over this keyword of def. You can't change that def to anything. Def is a keyword reserved word, okay? Now, this add 3, you can give it a descriptive name. You might say 3 to add 3 to any value given, okay? So this one we have inside here is called argument. So the argument name here could be anything you feel like giving it, okay? You still have power over the name of the argument as well. Here we call it input underscore variable. Then we have column, okay? So it has to follow that syntax, the syntax as well, okay? Now, when you click on enter, you have the body part of the function. The body part of the function is where the logic to be what? To be placed. And of course, function is expected to return a value. It's expected to return a value. And if you look at the name of the function, it say add 3, meaning add 3 to the entry. So if you look at it now, the output variable is going to be holding the value of the input plus 3. So that is the increment of 3, then return the new value. So the new value is going to be, if this input is 3 and you're adding another 3 to it, it's going to return what? 6. Okay, and this is the breaking down of words which I've already explained. You can look up to that, please. Let's scroll down to another one. Now, this is another function. Now, to use that function, we only declare the function here. Can you see? We declare the function and we return the value, but that won't work until we call it. So, in the process of calling this function is here. We say run the function with 10 as input. So remember, the input plus the 3 is going to give us what? 13. So the expected value is going to be 13 as we have it here, okay? So for it to work, for that function declares to work, you have to call it, okay? And that calling is returning a value, and that value is stored inside this word, inside the new number variable, okay? Then we print out the new value. So let's scroll down. If you come to this place, they just try to explain it that this is a variable, okay? And set the value of to, now this equals to me assign value. We are assigning the return value. Remember, we say this function should return a value, and this is the value that is returning after adding trace to the input value. So it's returning something, then that value that is returning, we assign it into what, to this variable called new name. Okay, now we're going to see that as time goes on. Now if you look at this again, a more complex example, let's read through this example. Let's see what they're talking about. They say, now that you understand the basic, we can move on to an example with a longer calculation. Say you are helping a friend to calculate their weekly paycheck after taxes. They are in a 12% tax bracket. In other words, 12% of their salary is taken for taxes, and they only take home 88%. And they are paid hourly at a rate of $15 per hour. Okay, this function below calculates the paycheck based on the number of hours worked. The function is more complicated than with the first example we saw, because the function has more lines of code and comment. Similar to the example above, the function has a single argument called number of hours. Okay, number of hours in the function body. We use the value of number of hours to specify the value for a new variable pay pre-tax. Use the value of pay pre-tax to specify the value for a new variable pay after tax. Returns the value of the pay after tax value. Now you can see this is just what they call algorithm in computer science. What is algorithm? Algorithm is a step-by-step way of solving a particular problem. Okay, now you are going to follow each. If this instruction is followed as it is explained or itemized here, there is not going to be a problem for us. Okay, now if you look at it now, they've declared a function, start with def, that's d, to define a function, followed by the function name get paid, then the argument, the input number of hour, meaning we were told that they are paid, or your friend is paid based on what, per hour rate. Okay, now the hour determines the amount is going to be paid. Okay, so if 1 hour is 15, so if you work for 10 hours, it's going to be 150 150. Okay, pre-tax, without removing the tax percentage. Then having computed this, then you can now calculate the percentage of of tax removed. You remove it from the total money, the money paid before removing the tax. That give us what? Payment. That 88% that your friend is taking home is going to give us that, then return that. So to get that pay, like this one now, we're giving what, 40 hours, and 40 hours multiplied by 15 is going to be around 600. Okay, am I correct? Yes, 600. So 600, then 12% of 600 is going to be 528. Can you see now? So this is 88% of his salary that is going to be taken home, having deducted the tax, the tax from it. Now, to quickly calculate pay based on a different number of hour, what you need to do, call the function and supply the input. So you can now see why we need to use what function. It helps us to organize our code neatly, and also for the code that are needed to be reused in our in the code, in our script. We don't need to rewrite them over and over again. What we need to do is to just call the function and supply the value needed. Okay, so that is the beauty of function. And of course, variable, like we discussed the other time, variable is of two types. We have the scope of variable is of two types. We have the global variable and the local variable. Global variable are the variable that are exposed to the program, that can be used in any aspect of the program, any block of code in the program. Okay, while the local variable are specific, or they are peculiar to the block of code where they are being declared. Okay, you are going to see that, like in the case of this. Now let's see, let's go up. Let me show you something. Like in the case of pay pre-tax, is a local variable. It can't be used outside this block. Okay, it can't be used. You can't say, okay, after now you want to code, you want to call it, you want to reuse it. No, it's a local variable. And a global variable is a variable outside this function. Now if you have a variable outside this function, is a global variable. E.g., like pay full time is a what? A global variable. Okay, is a global variable. So let's continue. We're going to get that. Please take that to heart. I'm going to explain that. Now, function with multiple arguments. We've been looking at single arguments since morning. Number of hours, that's num hours. We've looked at the first one. We look at the input variable. When we enter hard theory, we see input variable. Now let's look at when we have more than one argument to be supplied. Okay, so far you have learned how to define a function with just one argument. To define a function with multiple arguments, you only need to add more arguments inside the parentheses in the function head, and separate them. What? You have to separate them with comma. Okay, comma. Now we do this with the get pay with more input function below, which calculates a weekly paycheck based on 3 arguments. Now this function we have now, the function is to compute get pay with more input. Okay, based on 3 arguments, and these are the argument we have. We have the number of hours, which we used in the previous function, number of hours worked in a week. Then we have hourly wage, the hourly wage in dollar. Okay, then we say tax bracket, so that is percentage of your salary that is removed for taxes. Okay, now let's look at the structure of the function. Don't forget, the first line is called the head of the function, while anything that follows it is called what? Is called the body of function. Okay, now, and in the head of the function we have what? We have the keyword called def, which is very important. It's telling us this is what? A function. Then followed by the name of the function, then the parameter that will be used. Here we have multiple parameters. The num has the hourly wage and tax bracket. Okay, then we have the pay. You've done this before. We have what the company will pay your friend before they deduct the tax. Okay, now this is it. It's being computed by the number of hours multiplied by the hourly wage. Okay, so multiply that, we have the pre-tax. Okay, then you compute, you subtract your take home percentage. Take home percentage is 88%. Don't forget, the tax percentage is what? 12%. So meaning that your friend will be taking 88% home. Okay, so the total money paid that's supposed to be paid to him multiplied by the percentage he's taking home, excluding the tax. Okay, so this returns this. So let's scroll down now. Now we have here, we are supplying the value now, get paid with more input. So the input, your friend worked for what? 40 hours. You have to match it to this. Okay, you have to put it accordingly respectively. Okay, the hours, the number of hours is the first value you supply. hourly wage is the second value, and the tax bracket, this one is 22%. From 12% now is 22. Okay, let's read this comment here. You say, then to call the function, you need to provide one value for each input, again separated by what? A comma. In the code cell below, we calculate the pay after taxes for someone who works 40 hours, makes $24 per hour, and is in a 22% tax bracket. Okay, so this is what they computed. Okay, we're going to see that. So the return value, what to return is this, and this is a global variable. Don't forget, these are uh, local variable. You can't use them outside that function. Okay, now let's continue. Let's scroll down and see what will happen now. They are trying to compare the former function we use one argument with this. Now you can see the following code cell gives the same result as when we ran get paid 40%. Okay, because hourly wage is set to 15 and the tax bracket is set to 12%, which line up with how we defined get paid. Okay, now this is it. We have the same value like what we did initially. Can you see now accommodate the first one, take one argument, and we got this correctly. Okay, now in this one also we got it correctly. All right, let's continue. Now function, there are some functions that do not take argument. Okay, function with no argument are function that does not require you to supply anything. Okay, and not all the function return something. Some function don't return, like what we have now. You say the function define the function with no argument and with no return. Now we have print hello. Now in the hello, we only have a function, a built-in function called print hello, which takes what? Argument. Okay, it takes argument, and you can see call the function, of course. Now this function, now you see, it does not take any argument, neither does it or return anything. Only print what we predefined in it, which is hello you and good morning. Okay, now let's look at the example. Let's look at the exercise assigned to this tutorial or the lesson. Okay, the first cell we have here, set up the notebook. We need to run this, because if you don't run it, they won't be able to know or assign or map your answers to your notebook. Okay, it's very, very important you run it. So let's run it. Good, setup completed. So the first question we have here is, let's read through it and see and follow each line by line. In the house prices advanced regression techniques competition, you need to use information like the number of bedrooms and the bathrooms to predict the price of house. So we have two arguments there. Let's stop there. We have two arguments. The first input is the number of bedrooms, and the second one is the bathrooms in that house, the number of bedrooms in that house. Okay, inspired by this competition, you will write your own functions to do this. So we're going to write a function that takes two arguments and return the price of house based on two arguments. Now in the next code cell, create a function get, this is the name of the function now, get expected cost for a house that has two arguments. This is two arguments. We're going to be using these two. Of course, they've said that to do complete the function. They've done that for us because this is the head. Don't forget, we have two parts of function: the head of the function and the body of the function. So in this exercise now, they've helped us to define the head of the function. They start with the keyword, the name of the function, and the name of the function and the two arguments given us. Okay, now the value, we want to calculate the value. So let's look at the instruction. Now this instruction we have here, they are called a step by step in a way of solving this problem given us. In computer science, the term the term assigned to this step-by-step way of solving this problem is called algorithm. Algorithm is the step-by-step way of what is solving a particular problem. So in solving this particular problem, the step has been given us already, which are the instructions. Okay, the first instruction you follow sequentially. Now it should return the expected cost of a house with that number of bedroom and the bathroom. Assume that the expected cost for a house with 0 bedroom and this is this. So what does that mean? Even when there is no bedroom or bathroom, it still return 80,000. That's a constant value. We're going to see that this is a constant value. Okay, that's a constant value. We're going to be using linear relationship, linear regression. That's linear relationship. Okay, so don't forget regression. Okay, now seeing how variable relates linearly to one another. Now each bathroom had 30,000 to the expected cost, and each bathroom had 10,000 to the expected cost. For instance, a house with 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom has an expected cost of this. So meaning that if you multiply 1 with this, you have 30,000. If you multiply 1 with it, you have 10,000. Add this together with this, you have 40,000. 40,000 plus this, you have 120,000. So that is how they got that. And of course, the same thing applicable to multiply by this gives 6,000. This times this 10,000. 10 plus 60 gives us what? 70. 70 plus this 150. So let's look at what it does here. Meaning that this is a linear regression, and in mathematics we say linear, which is y is equals to xm plus c. xm plus c, that's a simple linear regression. Simple linear regression. That's a simple linear regression. Okay, and of course in mathematics we can equally denote r, the y, to be f of x, meaning that is an input, is a function taking an input and is expected to compute that and give us result. So that is what it means. But in our case, in this state, we have two input. So meaning, don't forget what we did here. We say if the bedroom is 1, we multiply 1, this value now is now the variable. Okay, multiply by the constant value, the gradient, that's the m. So in this state, it means y is equals to, which is the cost, please follow closely, the cost of any house given us with respect to the bedroom number is going to be bedroom multiplied by the m. And what is that m? Is this fixed value. Don't forget, each bedroom add up to 30,000 to the expected cost. So the m there of the bedroom is 30,000 plus the bathrooms multiplied by its own gradient. So its gradient means coefficient. Okay, coefficient. I'm going to be doing video on that also to explain all these mathematical jargons, okay, so that you can understand it better. But however, follow me closely as we continue. Okay, 10,000 plus the constant, the c, that's the intersection of those variables to y-axis. Okay, so what is the constant? That's 80,000. Even when there is no room, let's assume when we have 0 here, when we have 0 here, and we now have 80,000. They say if this is 0 now, 0 times anything becomes 0. 0 times anything gives what? 0. Then it returns. Don't forget this statement. Say the expected cost for a house with 0 bedroom and 0 bathroom is this, meaning that even if the number of bedroom and the number are not given, the number of the house, the cost of the house will still be what? The constant value, 80,000, where the x-axis or the baseline crosses the y-axis. Okay, so let me put the expression here so that we'll follow as we progress. Okay, let me write it in full. Then 10,000, so that this will guide our decision as we progress. Okay, now let's now solve the problem now. So we've already written the expression now. So don't forget, we say beds multiplied by 30,000. In mathematics, there's something they call BODMAS or pen mass, meaning parenthesis exponential, the P stands for parenthesis, E exponential, D division, M multiplication, A addition, and X subtraction. Of course, there's another, they are of the same thing of BODMAS, they call it BODMAS. So the B stands for bracket, meaning parenthesis, the whole there of, meaning the of, then D division, M multiplication, A addition, and S subtraction. Okay, so it's going to, the compiler is going to solve this first, and add everything together based on this principle. Okay, so we don't need to put it in bracket. We should have, just say like this, put it in bracket, put it in bracket, put it in bracket. So that's the order of operation. Okay, so we can put it in bracket or just leave it, it will still work. So we have done that already. So what we need to do is to just replicate the same thing that we have done. Let me comment this so that it won't cause issue. Yeah, good. So we're just, let's replicate what we've done. Okay, plus open bracket buff multiplied by 10,000 plus 80,000. So this will compute it and store the result here, then return the value. So let's run it. Let's run this. Run. So let's comment ahead, check is correct. So we are correct. Congratulations. Let's proceed. Let's see what they did. Let's see their own solution. You can unlock, you can comment it and run it. So I told you, you can see it now. You can see what they did. So the arrangement does not matter in mathematics. So if you say in mathematics, if you say 3 times 2 is the same thing as, is the same thing as 2 times 3. Okay, and if you say 3, if you say that, the order does not matter in this stead. Okay, all right, so it's very, very essential. Okay, more especially addition 2. When you have addition 2 plus 3 will still give you 3 plus 2. Okay, in as much they have similar operator. Okay, so now let's comment that back. We are right with our solution. Let's move to the second question. The second question says you are thinking about buying a house and wants to get an idea of how much you will spend based on the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. You are trying to decide between 4 different options. So the first option, house with 2 bedroom and 3 bathroom. So what do? We call the function. We have already done it already. We've written a function to do that for us. So what we need to do is to call the function, supply the value. So the first option, our first option is going to be get, don't forget this is the name of the function that we worked on initially, cost. Then you supply the first argument must be the number of the house, which is what? 2, then 3 bedroom bathroom. Then the second option, remove this, then type the name of the, I'm not going to do copy and paste, I'm going to type it. Okay, it's good to type. Okay, now 3, 2, then Don't forget, second option say 3 bedroom and 2 bathroom. Okay, get expected cost. So this is going to be 3 comma 3. Then lastly, we have get expected cost. So the fourth option say 3 bedroom and 4 bathroom. Okay, so now we can now run the code. Let's see, it's going to tell us we are correct. Yeah, correct. Congratulations. You can now see if we are not using function, it means we are going to be repeating or reiterating the same code, the same line of code. But now it helps us to organize our code and help us to be efficient in writing code. Okay, now the third question we have now, I think let's say, is that all? Okay, we have 3 questions to go. Okay, let's continue. If you look at the question number 3, or let's break this video. It has been a while.